I don't want any more people dying on my watch. First responders, I mean, or people with mental illness, because there's such an, if you're at your lowest, and I've talked to many that were at their lowest, after and during my recovery, that just talking, going out for coffee, finding someone relatable, the feeling of not being alone is such a relief.
Welcome to OTR, Achieving Mental Health for Real. This is where we talk honestly about what people actually live with: anxiety, depression, ADHD, dyslexia, OCD, trauma, and more. No stigma, no sugarcoating, just real conversations about how you think, how you feel, and how you move through the world. If you're looking for clarity, validation, and a place where your story makes sense, you're in the right space. Let's get into it.
This is the conclusion of the story of Andrew Mclean, who spent 18 years as a police constable with the Waterloo Regional Police Service, after starting his career as a news reporter. He served 3 years as a detective in the General Investigations Unit, leading major cases involving shootings, stabbings, armed robberies, and gang-related violence. On frontline patrol, he stepped into the role of acting sergeant and coached new recruits entering the job he once loved. In May 2021, the weight of everything he had seen, and everything he had carried alone, finally broke through. Andrew was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and has been off-duty since. During that time, he wrote a book about his descent into PTSD and the long climb back, becoming an advocate for emergency service mental health and the people who are still silently drowning inside the uniform. If you heard part 1, you know Andrew's story began with a collapse, a moment where the job, the pressure, and the untreated PTSD finally broke through. But the break isn't the whole story. Part 2 is about the climb back. This is where we look at the recovery, the counseling, the medication, and the support he finally received, and also the parts of the system that tried to smooth it over. Because whitewashing doesn't happen in the crisis, it happens in the cleanup. It happens when institutions try to make the story look cleaner than it really was. Content warning: this episode contains graphic descriptions of violence and trauma that may be triggering for listeners with PTSD or related experiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
Now, here's Bob with today's show.
Part 2 picks up where Part 1 left off, with Bob asking about Andrew's breakdown to his mother.
I heard that you came to a point where, kind of a breaking point, where you approached your mother and told her that you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, like that night I came home, I think I was working night shift, and I came back to my mom's place and laid in bed because she was in bed, but I heard her get up. It was about 7 a.m. I was laying in bed for about an hour, and I just walked up to her, and it was like I was 5 years old again. I just hugged her and I said, I can't do it anymore. And I just broke down. And the sounds coming out of my body were sounds that I've never heard come out of my body. Like I'm like wailing, crying.
Yeah,
like
you were processing
it just blew like a top. Yeah, I was done. And I couldn't even imagine doing something simple, like even going for a walk or driving my car. Didn't want to see people. No, right. I just wanted to just crawl in a hole and die.
Yeah, anxiety levels are through the roof. You don't want to do anything. You don't have any. No. Your soul is gone, basically. That's what major depression is. People don't understand that. Everything is taken from you. Your soul, your life, your love, everything is gone, and it strips you away. Yeah. And like you said, for months, not for a couple of weeks. For months. Right. So how long did you just lay in bed? How long did you have to endure? It took me about 6 months. 6 months after that. Like, I had to pull myself together, which was hard for the process of being home. Like, I mean, to get the paperwork done for the for the Worker Safety Insurance Board, for work, blah, blah, blah. Also attend appointments with my doctor and my therapist and all that stuff. I had to pull myself together for that stuff, but that's all I did.
And then when I was done, I just sat catatonic in a chair with the TV on or in bed.
Did you have anybody to reach out to and help you? Did your mother do anything?
Oh, my mom did, yeah. My mom didn't, like, one thing, like, I found is that, regular people, and I could say regular people that weren't in first response or have suffered this kind of trauma, don't understand what's going through your brain at any given time. Mm-hmm. So they mean well, but sometimes it can be also very triggering. And so any kind of human interaction for me, because of my heavy empath, like being a heavy empath, mm-hmm. I couldn't afford to take in anybody else's emotions. So I just didn't want to talk. I didn't want to interact with anybody. Right, and sometimes she couldn't understand that. Right. Mm-hmm. So she would think like, well, getting out would be good, or whatever. I didn't want to do it. And so it was frustrating for her as well. And I could see that now, but at the time, that's how I felt. It was just an overwhelming sense of doom, like everything to that point in my life. And I was, 5 years ago, I would have been 45.
Yeah. Well, you had no wife, you had no life, you had no job.
It was gone.
Yeah.
I had no wife, no kids, no job, nothing. And I came from an abusive relationship too. Like my wife was a raging narcissist. And since then, I know that they prey on empaths and stuff like that. But,
that makes sense. Yeah, right. They prey on people like us.
Yeah, right. And brainwashing the kids when I was at my weakest, saying, "Daddy, it's not stable. You shouldn't go see him." Blah blah blah. Yeah, I was like,
I'm in the same boat you are. I do. I read people and I feel their emotions, and I can't stand to upset people because it upsets me.
And I'm the same way. And I'm still that way to a certain point. But I think along this journey, I've learned to identify who those people are, and I just shut them out. I don't even give them the time of day anymore because I don't have to.
And you said boundaries. You said boundaries now, right?
Yeah, which wow, what a concept, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, people don't understand if they're not a person that feels that way. Did you went to a psychiatrist? Did you go to groups and stuff? Did the police force have a group or anything like that?
No. So, I mean, since then the police they have a thing called a wellness unit, but there's officers in there who have never experienced this. So how the fuck do they, like, and the thing is with the first response community, we're very not trusting of generally people. And, especially psychologists, psychiatrists, like anybody that's, hasn't seen what we've seen. How do you know? How can you treat me? So actually I went away from the service and I researched my own therapist, which was probably the best thing I could do because anybody that goes through the service just wants to get you back to work on time.
Yeah. Or medicate you.
I found someone who specialized in first response trauma, narcissistic abuse, and that sort of thing, and saw her and him. So there was two of them. There was a social worker and a psychologist. And
that's great.
Honestly, they were invaluable to me because they were the ones feeding me the reality of my situation. So, every time I would go in there, I'd be like, "So when am I going back?" And they're like, "You're not going back. You can't go back. You tried to kill yourself on the job. You're like, we can't give you a gun. What are you talking about? Sort of thing."
You couldn't be your authentic self, basically. You couldn't be who you are if you were on that job. It's just not you.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, could I have faked it? Maybe, but I would be dead by now. 100%. If I didn't reach out for help, I would have been dead. Yeah. Like either by my own hand or some kind of medical condition.
Did they give you a medication for or did you just get cognitive therapy or what was it that helps you the most?
Medication to cognitive therapy, EMDR, all of that. I mean, I'm on the maximum dose of Cymbalta, which is kind of the PTSD drug. So I take 120 milligrams of that a day. I also had to start taking beta blockers for my high blood pressure because it was so high due to my increased cortisol. So I've since learned the science of this. So your cortisol is your primal instinct sort of hormone, right? So my levels of that were so high that my heart was beating all the time. I was constantly in fight or flight. So the doc had to put me on those blood pressure medications,
right,
and the Cymbalta right away. And then I got into, and I do take a benzodiazepine, which is clonazepam, because I wasn't sleeping. And so really the only thing that can let me sleep and relax is that. So I take that at night. But since then, in the 5 years since, the heightened cortisol has also had effect on other things, which I didn't even suspect. Like since then, I've lost 60 pounds. I'm down to 170 pounds. I feel good. That's great. But I went and got my blood work done for the first time in 15 years.
Wow.
A new doctor, right? And so my A1C, so my blood sugar was like through the roof. Like I was very diabetic. I didn't
eat a lot of sugar and stuff?
No, that's the thing. I didn't think I ate that badly and stuff. Like just eat normal, anything in moderation, whatever. And my cholesterol is very high. So apparently that also is a product of all the cortisol. So over time, she's like, you've probably been diabetic for 5 years, right? Thank God my kidneys, my eyes and everything are still fine. But so I'm on medication for that now too. And the medication train doesn't stop. Now at the beginning, when this was all happening, one of my friends who also has PTSD from the job, he was on the medications and further along in the process than I was. I was just starting in the process, but I was very resistant to the medication. And he's like, why? Like, why suffer, man?
This is the problem I have all the time. Everyone is like ashamed. They're like, oh, I'm not crazy. I don't need medicine. Right. Yeah, everyone has that shame inside them. So it's the number one problem in this country.
Yeah, I mean, there's one side of the fence or the other. But I can tell you, when I don't take my medication, I am sick.
Yeah, it's just a fact. And people don't want to realize it. They'd rather suffer, go, to counseling and suffer again. And there's no hope in a sense. And then they go, okay, well, I'll end my life now. But you don't have to. You can get better. You can feel better. So
there's things you can do to make yourself feel better, honestly. And I even tried self-medicating with marijuana because it's legal up here. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's legal down there, but I mean, there is positive study effects with that and PTSD. And I tried it for about 6 months before I was on the benzos to sleep, and it was okay, and it was fine, and it did relax me. But after a while, it started making me weird, and I was I just like I'm not myself right now. So so then I just did this stuff, and I actually feel more like myself.
The medicines don't change you; they fix you. That's what they do. They fix you. They don't change you. That's a big thing.
Yeah. It's your brain. The one thing I've learned is your brain is an awesome organ.
Yes.
But it also likes familiarity. So I think when people don't want to take the meds, or they say they feel wrong or whatever, it's because they actually feel better, and their brain can't process it because the brain wants to go back to the dark. Uh-huh. And once you kind of accept that this is what normal is supposed to be, and it takes a lot of work, right? Inner work, on yourself, having those conversations with yourself. Yeah. But once you realize that, you're like, you know what, that does make sense. And so it does help. Like I can't stress that enough. It's not an embarrassment to be on that stuff. And even if you're on it, who else needs to know? Like, I mean, again, like in your recovery, right? Like it's just a pill you're on to help you get through it. Because I can tell you right now, without something as simple as those beta blockers and not even knowing what my heart rate was at that point, resting, I would have been dead. Like my doctor's like, I can't let you work based on that alone. Like you need to fill this prescription now and start taking this. Like, holy shit. And that was kind of my, that was my
the shame of it is that people won't think twice about getting alcohol, marijuana. All of that stuff is okay. Okay, we can do that, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's all a drug. Why is it different? So this is what I preach on the show all the time, that if you need it, take it. If you don't need it, don't take it. And in your case, if you can get off of it, my brother had it. He had the same thing I did. And later on in life, when he retired, he got off of it. So it doesn't mean you have to be on your entire life.
No.
But it's better than the third, which is suicide.
And then taking it off and on, or like just stopping taking it is probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, don't do that.
You do go through the withdrawals, right? So it does have
and don't throw them in the garbage, like in some pit. Like say, "Oh, I'm not taking them anymore," because it'll kill you. Yeah, it could kill you.
Yeah, it really will. Yeah, it will. I mean, there's been times when we've just when I've run out of them, and I let's just say over the Christmas holidays, because I've just forgotten to renew my prescription, and that's the other thing, is that because of the heightened cortisol, your hippocampus goes into, your frontal lobe shrinks and your hippocampus goes into overdrive. So your ability to retain short-term memory goes away. Mm-hmm. And so, my memory is terrible. So, I since now have my partner living with me, and that's great, but so she can remind me. But I mean, when I was by myself, I would constantly forget to renew my prescription.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I went like a couple of days over Christmas without it. And oh my God, I was manic by the time and it takes a couple of days to get it back up to the levels that have you functional again. Right.
Yeah. It's a withdrawal problem. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how did were you friends with other officers? Did they shun you because you were, you had a mental disease and all that? Did they give you trouble?
I'm still really good friends with a lot of people I worked with. So they reach out and talk to me every now and then, and that's great. I wouldn't say I was shunned. I will say there's probably people out there that don't believe me. Mm-hmm. I'll kind of tell you a story about the, sort of the inner workings of the mental health, how they really pay attention to it behind the scenes, which they don't. So I had just been off for maybe a couple weeks, and a good friend of mine also, who had been through the journey but was returning back to work, wanted to have more responsibility. Like, he wanted to be an acting sergeant. He wanted to eventually get into detectives. So he asked the bosses for more responsibility. The answer he got was, well, you've been off before with mental health, so we pretty much don't trust you in that role. So no, you're not going to do it. And if you don't like it, then you can go see, Andy's guy and just get written off and not come back.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's our leadership. The guys on the ground, like the true grunts, like us in the front line, either in detectives or, on patrol front line, that actually do cop work, I have not been shunned by any one of them. Wow. Mostly it's leadership.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was true. Like maybe 10 years ago, I don't think that was true. I think a lot of cops were like, "Oh, he's weak, or he's not, he's not macho enough." Yeah,
and that's the perception.
I think it's changing. Right? Yeah,
yeah, and that's why I think it took me a little while to build up the courage to write my book, but once I started realizing the effects on the front line, I figured I was always a leader. It's time for me to stand up and tell people what it's really like, because we had a spate up here of, it just seemed like somebody was taking their own life, like either a firefighter, paramedic, or a copper up here was taking their life every day. Mm. And this was kind of during COVID as well. And I'm like, fuck, man, like, aren't these people, like, how does this happen? Right. So, and given my own experience of how alone you feel within it, I thought these people have to know they're not alone. And I know it's a pie in the eye, pie in the sky sort of thing. But I was like, I don't want any more people dying on my watch. Mm-hmm. First responders, or people with mental illness, because there's such an, if you're at your lowest, and I've talked to many that were at their lowest, after and during my recovery, that just talking, going out for coffee, finding someone relatable, it's the feeling of not being alone is such a relief. Like, when.
I try to do it, and get the message out to people with the show, and every little bit anybody can do for a person that they think is alone and scared, and it goes a long way. It just does.
Yeah.
To reach out to somebody.
It's hard to describe, but when you have somebody in your corner, somebody who understands it,
right?
It's so eye-opening, because we're all wandering around out there thinking we're alone in this, or that and honestly, like, the PTSD thoughts are that our buddies who we once served with think we're weak, we're this, that, and the other, because we're just imposing those thoughts on our head, right? And it just swirls I look at it like an avalanche, right? It starts with a little pebble at the top of the mountain, and by the time the avalanche is in full effect, you can't control it. It's kind of the same thing. And the mind plays these tricks on you to make you think that you're somehow inferior and that you're weak for doing this. But no, it's a product of doing your job, honestly.
Yeah.
You do your job right, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
To have the job take everything, including your life, means the job won.
Yeah.
Right? What is it you like doing?
Tell us about your book. What's the name of it, and what's it about? Obviously, you're right.
My book. I self-published my book, and it was just part of this grassroots movement that I've started. It's called "Beaten Black and Blue: A Journey into the Light," and basically, it's a memoir of my policing career from when I was still in radio, transitioning into policing, my experience through OPC, my experience all the way through, which led to my post-traumatic stress disorder diagnosis. And basically my goal for this is, for anybody to read who has post-traumatic stress, doesn't matter if you're a first responder or not, families of first responders, but also people who have been diagnosed with it. The journey is long, but it's possible. And my whole point for the book was like, if this dummy, me, can do it, anybody can. And to tell them too that they're not alone. And so, that's kind of why I wrote it. It's just something that felt important to me, because if I'm no longer helping the public, I'm going to help the people that help the public.
Yeah.
And
I'm the same way with
purpose as well.
With the podcast, I do this so the 12-year-old boy who develops OCD and all these other crazy, rotten things has a chance. They have a chance to make a life instead of screwing everything up. So that's why I'm on the air. That's why I'm doing things.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a certain element of it too, where I think, you have all these people telling you can't do something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to kind of prove them wrong, and I want to draw attention to,
Me too.
sort of the virtue signaling of what the pretend help is. So like what the outward message is compared to what it's actually like inside, and why people don't reach out, and kind of counter the argument of, you chose this, so therefore your diagnosis is your fault. Well, no, I didn't really choose this, because nothing prepared me for this.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I think people should, especially celebrities, because I got help from a really odd source. I listen to all types of music, and this one person, NF, I don't know if you ever heard of, he's a rapper. A lot of people don't like rap. The thing about NF is he came out and said, "Look, I'm mentally ill, and I have these problems." And I heard that. I said, "Wait a minute, that's me. That's my mirror. This guy's a mirror." And it changed everything in my life. It was like, all of a sudden I said, "Wait a minute, I'm not the only person like this. There are other people like this." And then I went on to the social media sites, and everybody's like, "Well, I'm just like you." So there are people like you but you haven't gotten to them yet. And this show is meant to tell you that there are other people you can reach out to, and you're not alone. And you're wired differently in some cases. You're just wired differently. So what?
Yeah, and honestly, it's taking this misery we feel sometimes, because let's be honest, there are those dark days where,
oh my God,
you don't even know what to think. It manifests itself in anger and guilt, but it doesn't feel like anger and guilt, right? It's a weird sort of dynamic where your brain is just playing tricks on you.
It doesn't feel at all.
Everything's a big deal. You got that brain fog and whatever.
I went from Xanax to Xanax. It was just holding on. That's all it was. Like I was holding on from Xanax to Xanax. I called my sister 4,000 times. She was, probably going to, cut her phone off. It's terrible, but it's not permanent. That's the difference.
No, that's the thing. And you can either take two roads. You can either go down the road and die, or you can take the road and choose to do something about it. And, it took me a long, long time to understand, and I was alluding to this before, that this sickness, this illness, this injury is a gift. It's a gift of enlightenment. Yeah. Because really, when you've been down the pit of hell and you walk out of hell, and there's nothing that can affect you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I realized when the second I saw you on one of these shows, this guy's awake. He's awake. Yeah. He's not a guy that runs around in the rat race and doesn't know what life's about. This is a guy that's awake. And that's the kind of person I want for this show. People that are real. It says at the end of my title, for real. Because that's you. Everyone has to be who they are, their authentic self. Because in the future, AI will help you to become your authentic self. Because you don't have to, be a big bully and push everybody around. You have all this information right in front of you. No one can stop you, basically.
That's right.
And if you're yourself and you do what you want to do and what you can do, because this is what you were born with, that's it. And you have to take whatever you have and make it gold. And that's what you got to do. And you can't work at a job that sucks. I did the same thing you did, except not as dramatic. I worked in IT, which was pressure. And I lived on adrenaline. Sure. Yeah, I lived on adrenaline.
I hear you, brother. Like it's kind of funny because this workplace insurance up here, I have to go through a whole bunch of assessments, and I went through a cognitive assessment, and work back to work training for any job essentially. Yeah. Yeah. And my whole care team is like, he can't work. Like, I can't work around people anymore. Like, I would lose my mind. Like, just something as simple as going to the grocery store, for instance, and you hear people complaining about, they don't have that dish soap that they usually get or whatever, and it's a big friggin' deal to them. Or even the people that are complaining in line that the old lady at the front of the line is taking too long talking to the cashier. Drives me nuts. Yeah. Like nuts. Like to the point where I get super angry and then super tired, and it's the cycle, right? So it's all I can do to get in and out of places like that. But once you realize it, and that gift of enlightenment, where you're like, you know what, like what matters and what doesn't matter anymore, and what can I control?
We live like kings. We live like kings. Everybody has everything. We don't need anything else. The money, you can, as long as you can eat and have a roof that's decent over your head, fuck the rest of it. Be who you are. That's life, and that's how you get happy, period. I don't know. These shows can all tell you how to get happy and give me $500 for it. But I'm telling you how to be happy, and no charge. I don't even have a fucking commercial. commercials in this stuff is to me evil, because
Yes.
I'm not gonna profit from this.
Right.
Then what's the point? I'm trying to wake people up.
Preaching to the choir here. I totally agree.
I'm trying to wake people up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shaking them. Wake up, because I woke up, and I woke up because I went to hell. Nobody has to do that. You can wake up before you go to hell.
That's right.
And it's needless suffering. And some people on the show go, well, you got to go to hell again. No, you do not have to go to hell. You have to understand. You have to try. You have to read. You have to do all this work. And guess what? You can get there. And you don't have to.
The only reason why
yourself.
we went to hell is just because we refused to do anything about it at the beginning. I think.
Right. We had no help.
Because I
had no help.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I thought I was. I thought I was a retard. I thought I was a jerk off. I thought everything bad about myself.
Like, how many times did you just tell yourself, "Suck it up"? Just suck it up. Like everybody all the time.
Everybody abused me. Everybody abused me. Everybody. If you pick a person, he abused me. I went to work and I got abused. Everywhere I went, I was abused because I have an HCA, and I cut people off, and they're like, "What's wrong with you? What's your problem?" And the only reason I survived is because I have the mind to do shit that nobody else can do in IT. That was the only reason I was there. Otherwise, they would have canned my ass, because they don't understand me. They would say, this fucking guy's weird, get rid of him. They did that in a couple of places. They would just say, this guy's weird, just get rid of him. But, I had to shift jobs because people would get really like, what is with this guy? Is he for real? But, so it was just torture for 40. I tortured myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be avoided. Read Andrew's book. Read everybody's book that talks about waking up.
Yeah. And when you awaken, there's something very freeing about it. Suddenly, you're not the slave to the people that you tried to please once. You're not the people pleaser. You set boundaries, and you learn not to feel guilty about it. It's hard at first because you still do.
Will you have pain at first? You'll have pain. Yes, you'll have pain. But pain. Guess what? Pain is part of life. If you don't have pain, you don't have joy. Just take it that day and say, "Look, it's temporary. Tomorrow I'll feel better." And that's I have great days. But I'll have that. Like, the seasons will change, and that always gets me.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, it's just we're very much alike, I think, because I feel what people feel, so I can't, like, when somebody mocks me out, I can't respond because I feel bad that I did something that hurt the person, but I'm a mess, right? And I feel good most of the time. So what does that tell you? I have ADHD, OCD, major depression, major anxiety, dyslexia.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I'm happy most of the time.
Yeah.
So anyone could do this.
100%.
You had problems, bad PTSD. And now you're better, right? I mean,
getting there. Yeah. I don't, I've just, sometimes you just learn to live with it and you understand, but the key is to understand what's happening to you, to be self-aware enough to understand that, when I'm in a PTSD episode, that this isn't rational. Right. And you just kind of keep telling yourself that in your brain, this is not rational. This too shall pass, Do I isolate when I'm like that? Absolutely. Do I need to be alone? Yes. But, I do come out of it. I'm not afraid to go to social gatherings anymore or, talk to friends or, whatever, there's still a bit of trepidation there sometimes. And if I'm having a bad day, I'll just leave early. But I found forcing myself to do things that get me out of my comfort zone really, really helped. And because all of a sudden, like, it's not going to be the major tragedy you think it's going to be. You know, you're just waiting
for
the needles
for
something to happen.
Let me tell you something. If you're afraid of doing something, that means you have to do it. Because
100%.
Because if you don't, the next time you try to do it, it'll be twice as hard.
That's right.
Just do it. All my life I've been a doer. I had a major breakdown, and I was recovering and trying to get a job. And I went to this one interview, and I was terrible. I felt like crap. I was all hot, and chemicals were running through my head. I could have easily gotten in a car and go home. But I went through the interview. I sucked a little bit, but I went through the interview. If I didn't do that, the next interview, I wouldn't have got the job.
Yeah, like if you didn't do that one, then you would have done
here's
the next one. It's like riding a bike all over again.
Yeah,
you know, you got to learn.
You cannot lose unless you quit, because if you lose at something, you can take the learning out of it. You can learn from every loss that you do, every mistake that you make. You can learn from. You don't learn anything from quitting. Nothing.
No, and it gets you nowhere other than.
And suicide is quitting.
I coined the term. I coined the term victim Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes we go down that road in society where my trauma is bigger than your trauma, and blah 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 blah. And it crosses genders, it crosses race, it crosses everything, and it's all the same.
You have to get out of yourself. You have to get out of yourself. That's the problem. That's right. People are stuck in themselves. How am I going to feel 10 minutes from now? How am I going to do this? What's going to happen to me now? What is me?
Right.
No, you care about other people. Guess what? You'll feel better. You do things for other people, you'll feel better.
Yep.
It's just true. It's just true. And maybe a psychopath, he might not feel better. But the average human being, they say if you do something nice, their serotonin level goes up for an average 100%. Human being. So what do we do? I mean, I see on TV, you got a guy who's 60, and he's worried about making more money, like the president. Come on, we got 20 years left, which goes fast when you're old. What the hell are you doing worrying about money?
Yeah.
You know, it's just it is a mental disease in itself.
Yes, I agree.
The pursuit of money.
It's about learning what makes you happy. You know.
Yeah. And it doesn't make you happy. It might make you happy for like a day.
Right.
And then you're back to being miserable. This artist I'm talking about, Annette, he made it. He's arrived. He said, so what? He doesn't care. Now, in fact, he's saying now that he wished he was still struggling because that was more fun than this.
Yeah. So, no, I agree. Yeah. I think it's
a great message that you're putting out in this book, and everybody should probably go and read it. I mean, not probably. They should go and read it. What harm is there? What can't be that much money.
Yeah, you know, and it's you know, if anything, you know, not even like speaking to the people with issues similar to mine, it's also to create an understanding with people who don't have these issues, right?
Right.
To have a bit of empathy for people that do. And you know, it's not a comparison thing about who's better or who's worse off or who's this or who's that. But you never know, like that guy that's walking down the street, you know, that looks happy may not be very happy. Or that road rage incident where some guy just is driving like a Looney Tune and you take the bait and you start getting angry at them. You don't know what that guy's going through. And you know, to have a little bit of common understanding perhaps and a little bit of empathy for people who could be going through some serious shit. Like that guy driving down the road in a Ferrari, maybe the most depressed person in the world, right? Because he doesn't understand that all this money and success he's achieved isn't what he really wants. And he just keeps going after it more and more and more and more. You know, like
It's a drug.
There's a certain recipe for success in that. But at the same time, you also have to step back, smell the roses, realize where you're at, and understand: is this enough? And
people don't understand.
To be able to enjoy it. I talked about my dad. He died. Pretty much after retirement, and didn't have a chance to actually enjoy life. And I resolved myself that I don't want to do that.
It's so important for other people to understand. My children just think I'm a narcissist. They barely talk to me. They're a neurotypical. I'm neurodivergent, and it's like they just think I'm weak. They just think, oh, Dad's crazy. That's it. And there's nothing I can do about it.
Mine are the same. Yeah, but we're not.
I can't do anything about it. They feel that I'm a failure. Oh, Dad's a failure.
Yeah. I grieve that every day. But I understand now.
My daughter didn't talk to me. She ghosted me for 3 years. She just called like a year ago because she was having a child. Oh, Dad, how you doing? I'm having a child. Oh, thanks. Thanks for talking to me. My boys call me once every 3 months if I'm lucky. Yeah. And they have children that are my grandchildren. I live far from them. They're in South Carolina, and I hate that area. I don't hate South Carolinians. I hate living there. It's too hot. It doesn't have enough things to do, and it's just, I don't like it. I was born and raised in Jersey. I'm a Jersey person. That's all. Right. Well, I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous. I don't know. But anyway, I got into it. Probably have to run, but I just wanted to leave this time for something that you might want to say that I haven't covered or anything like that, or nothing. It's up to you.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for the forum. I think that this discussion has just been awesome, and it further highlights my goal that, we're not alone. And the more that we can talk about this, and I call it like kind of building an army of guys like us, and ladies like us who have suffered these great tragic losses and all of these other things. And when life gets too much, you have two choices. You can either lay down or you can move forward and do something about it. And I really, really, really subscribe to the do something about it. And if you need to reach out and get help, believe me, it's hard, but you can do it. Also, my book is available on Amazon. I forgot to say that before. But yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm in this for the money. I'm in it for spreading the word, and it's a cause that's near and dear to me. And it's taken me a long time to learn what living life is. It's taken a lot of loss and a lot of heartbreak, but it is possible to recover. And I kind of think that God and the devil choose, like the devil chooses the weak, right? And so there's people that just skate through life without tragedy and stuff. And I think that the strong are truly tested, because once we get whatever it is that we want or we're striving for, we learn to, we can appreciate it, and we can also be a force as well in pushing that message. So think of it that way.
John Lennon says, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, we have to change the world. Everybody says, oh, the world is just like that. Well, the world is what we make it. Okay? I mean, if we did everything right instead of being selfish people, it would change. It would just change. It has changed. We no longer like execute people on a cross or something. It's not that barbaric. It's barbaric to me, but it's not like it was. It was awful. We made it better. Let's go one more step. We have AI to help us. Let's make it that much better. We can do it, just like we can get better mentally. America as a whole and the world as a whole can get better. Imagine there's no countries. I wonder if you can. It's just, this is the way you can help out. help somebody. Yeah. That's all.
It just,
That's all.
the change starts with the individual, right? And you start by changing yourself, realizing where you're at, having those difficult conversations with yourself, and then, you make those changes yourself, and that's when you can help others. But you can't help anyone unless you help yourself first, right?
Yeah, it's grassroots. We have to do it grassroots. There's no revolution. It's just people have to change. That's it. We have to stop.
If we leave it,
bullies.
Yeah, if we leave it, then it's going to be people that have never suffered from this type of stuff making decisions for us, and we don't want that.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, I'll let you go. And I knew from the second I saw, heard what you were saying, that you were great for the show, and you were. And I really appreciate your time. I wish you tremendous luck on the book and whatever else you do. And, you're going to get better and better. I'll tell you that right now. I know you will. So take care of yourself. And
that means a lot.
Yeah.
You too as well.
All right. Take care of you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.